Sometimes change is scary. Sometimes change is exciting. For us, this change is a little bit of both. Welcome back, everybody. You may have wondered what happened to us. We took some time during the holidays and had tons of things going on, and we're back. So we're happy you're here.
We're still alive. We weren't kidnapped, and that's a good thing. But as you can see around here, we've made a couple changes. So we wanted to tell you about what changes we made, why we made those changes, what we decided to do, and detail some of the design issues that maybe we've seen with this rig. But we'll do so right after the intro.
Well, the Lance was short-lived. But as you can see, we're not in the Alliance fifth wheel, and the Lance is no longer ours. But if you're new here, thank you for joining us. And we are the Roadsmiths, and I'm Pam.
And I'm Ken.
And we've been on the road since 2021.
And as Pam said, we traded the Lance in for this Airstream Globetrotter 30RB. And what we wanted to do is kind of introduce you to it. What I love about the look of this, and we'll kind of go through it a little bit, is it looks like the inside of a European train car. But that means it's kind of tight, but we'll talk about that. What we wanted to do is just detail why we did this, you know, some of the pros and cons of what we found so far, and quite frankly, some of the design issues that we found. They're not showstoppers, but they're a little annoyances, and we'll go through that. But let's check out the inside of the Airstream Globetrotter 30RB. Pretty cool inside, isn't it? I would say it really is. Very modern. So let's talk about why we did this. And if you've been following our channel for a little while, you know that we've traveled in an Airstream, an Alliance 310 RL for the past couple of years, and we loved it. And quite frankly, we actually still have the Alliance, and we're going to use that for a very specific purpose going forward. And our life has changed for, you know, for a couple things. If you followed us, you know that we bought this Lance, or that Lance 2075, to go to Alaska with, and with some other friends, and we didn't go. Our youngest daughter in Colorado told us, her and her husband in March, that they were expecting in October. So we said, you know what, we're not going to go to Alaska. We'll save that for another time. And we used the Lance to go into Colorado and explore that, and even up into the Grand Tetons, which was great. And we'll put a playlist below so you can check out all the just awesome places in Colorado we went to with that little travel trailer.
And we've learned how much different it felt traveling in a small, simple travel trailer compared to the fifth wheel. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, the simplicity was great. We loved the space of the fifth wheel, but we loved the simplicity of the small travel trailer. And, you know, we got used to traveling without slides, and it could be a challenge, but, you know, it's just very, very simple. So we want to kind of walk through the details of all that. Again, we're keeping the Alliance, and the reason we're keeping the Alliance is we're going to use that when we go back to Texas for, you know, an extended period of time. And so to our Alliance family, we still love you. You hope you still love us.
Hopefully you still consider us allies.
Yeah. The small, simple trailer allowed us to get into some places that we wouldn't have gotten into with the fifth wheel. And, you know, places like State Forest State Park, or like Salida, or even in some places in Dillon, although we had some friends that had a 310 in Dillon. And it was just really cool to be really simple.
But it's not without some sacrifices that we've learned. Obviously, we're giving up some space through the width. We're giving up some space in our bathroom, in our bedroom, closet. But it's okay, because we're really enjoying now. Granted, we've only been in this for 2 weeks, but I'm pretty sure that with time we're going to continue to enjoy this even more.
Yeah, it's funny because people ask about, well, the shower, Ken, and I'm like, well, I'm 6'2", and the shower's like 6'1.5", and so it definitely, you know, definitely is a challenge to get in there. But As you all know, anybody that's RV'd for a period of time knows that everything's a compromise. I want to talk about some of the features that this Globetrotter has, and it is a 2025. We did decide to order it. We did put a 3-inch lift on it, which I think is helpful. We've watched a number of videos with 30-foot Airstreams, and they can drag a little bit, so we put a 3-inch lift on that. We did soft starts on the ACs, and we're doing some other things incrementally as well. We haven't quite organized yet, but what we have been doing is watching a lot of KYD, and we've always watched them. Keep Your Day.
We've always loved them.
Yeah, we always loved them. And this is the same exact model number they have. We aspire to be like them. We got a long way to go. That may take another 150 or 200 years, but I'll see if I can make that happen. Trish and Mark did a great organizational video on the Globetrotter, and so we have pretty much stolen their ideas.
We've incorporated a lot of the information that they've given to people. We've incorporated a lot of that into what we've done. But like Ken said, we have a lot more to do. So we'll save an organization video for another time.
So we got this a little bit late. We got it between Christmas and New Year's. And what was interesting about that is that we were on the way to the United rally. Thank you, Todd and Sheila, for including us. It was a Switch It Up rally that included a number of content creators. And we for sure so wanted to make that, but we had a couple challenges along the way. We had a cold weather snap in Texas, and it snowed about 5 inches. And if you've ever been to North Texas, anything more than 1/32 of an inch and stuff just starts shutting down, and the snow stayed around for a while. And then the last day, when we were trying to get stuff ready to really get going, we found that our sewer hose, and this has never happened before, our sewer hose was frozen solid because the site we're in, it was marginally uphill. It really wasn't too bad, but it was just enough where that sewer hose froze, and that was kind of horrible. A couple things on why the Airstream per se, and I think it goes back to two things for me. One is, and I'll post a picture here below, before we actually started doing this, as we were going out in 2021, in 2020, as we were thinking about what this life would look like, if you notice, our Ford F-350 is silver. That was kind of a planned thing. And then we looked at the Globetrotters. In fact, I actually put together this little montage picture of the Ford and the Globetrotter and the double and slate interior, and that's what we thought we would go to.
That's what he thought we would go to first after we moved out of our home.
And she wasn't having it.
And I wasn't having it. I wasn't ready for that much of a downsize at that time.
Yeah, and so we postponed that piece of it, and again, we've loved the Alliance, so there's no issue with that. Probably the thing that solidified it for me in my mind, we wanted to get simple again, and this is very, very simple.
Oh,
well, because the Lance, yeah, from the Lance. And so we were doing a work camping trip in Montana 2 summers ago at one of our favorite harvest hosts ever, Tracy and Kurt. If you're watching, the Silver Knot, we love you guys. We love that place.
If you guys are ever up near Glacier National Park, there's a fantastic harvest host called the Silver Knot. Make sure to stop and see them.
Yeah, we'll put a link below to the video that we did there. But so one day, because we were work camping, and so we were kind of managing the harvest host aspect of it, and we would park rigs as they came in. And one day, 3 Airstreams came in together. They were caravanning. They actually happened to be from Texas as well. And I got to talking to them after they got set up. Very nice people. And I asked them what years their Airstreams were. And one said a 2003, one said a 2006, and the other was a 2015. And I started doing the math, and I'm like, the 2003, well, I think that was the summer of 2003. That rig was 20 years old, and I don't know about today's fifth wheels if they're going to be rolling in 20 years from now. So, but again, we're going to use ours to roll from about a mile from the storage place to the mile to the campground by our daughter's house, and that's going to be great to kind of get some space back again.
I think anybody would agree that Airstreams are timeless. Much like many of the motorhomes that we've seen, you often can't even determine the age of them until maybe you walk inside. So no doubt that Airstreams are made to last, and who knows, this might be a short-term thing. It might be a long-term thing.
And if it's a short-term thing, it'd be one of the most expensive short-term things we've ever done. Let's go back a little bit more on the why, because I don't think we covered enough of that. So we mentioned our youngest daughter and her husband became pregnant last year, and they had their baby girl, Marlo May, on October 8th. It was great to be up there for all that.
Number 3 for us.
Number 3 for us, first one for them. If you followed our channel for a while, you know that we sold our house in Texas in 2021. We did have a condo in Florida for a number of years, for 13 years. And we used that in the off season, if you will, and we rented that to people in the winter months. But we actually sold that, and it was a quick sale, and we had to get stuff out of there. So,
which was a lot of additional reasons, I guess you could say, that slowed us down in December.
Yeah, for videos, because we had to move stuff out of that. But anyway, long story short, we're now truly homeless. And I love saying that, because
we fit into the full-time RVer category at this moment.
At this moment, but we won't forever, because what we're going to wind up doing is getting a small place up in Colorado, whether it's we lease a townhome or buy a townhome or something small, and we'll use that as a base. We had a great opportunity to be with our first 2 grandchildren, Hudson and Mason, up until they were, till Mason was about 4. Hudson about 7, and so we want that same opportunity with Marlo to be around. So what the plan is to have a sort of a home base there, and then we'll take like month-long or 6-week-long trips, whether it's west, north, east, or whatever. We're going to just do those kind of trips, come back, spend the time, have a home base, and that's why. If you ask me if I would full-time in this Airstream, I would say I should see a doctor if the answer is yes. It's been very comfortable, but I don't think from a truly full-time perspective. Now, some of you may disagree. Some Airstream owners may disagree with that. And we may change our tune over time.
Yeah, I mean,
get used to it.
The RV lifestyle, a word that is pretty much part of every RVer's life is pivot. We pivot a lot, as you've seen. Yeah,
and not as many. I mean, so we're in year number 4, so in RV number 3, so we need to slow the roll down on that a little bit, but based on this rig, I think we'll have to slow that roll down a little bit. Anyway, so that's kind of the why. So our travel will change. We're still going to bring you to great places that we go, because we still have a lot of places to go, not only in the United States, but also North America. And we think this rig is the right size. It's basically 31 feet. They call it a 30 RB. It's 31 feet, and it's the right size to get in a number of places. Easy to tow. In fact, when we we raced to the United Rally in Tucson, leaving Dallas, we towed the second day, the furthest I've ever towed in a day, and that was about 520 miles, and we've never even done that on the Alliance. I think the closest was about 400 miles, and that was a beating.
Yeah, I know a lot of you, a lot of people live by the 3-3-3 rule.
Right.
We've kind of stuck close to it, but not completely, although a lot of people we know also have traveled like 8-10 hour days pulling, giant fifth wheels. Yeah. And that's not something that he's ever enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, pulling the Alliance that far, that one time at a Bryce Canyon back to Gallup, New Mexico, wasn't great, but we had a specific reason why we had to do that. But I told Pam, I said, we did 520, and if it wasn't getting dark, I could have done another 100. I mean, the Airstream tows, as they advertise, it tows. It really is a dream to tow. So we feel like that's going to be the use case that we go with. So that covers the why, it covers the what. What we did want to do is cover some design flaws that, if Airstream, if you're listening, they're not major, but it's, I've always said it's a head scratcher. And these are a couple of head scratchers. So let's get into that. All right, so let's cover some of what we think are design flaws with this. Now, again, this is, maybe some people would say this is nitpicking, but it's a head scratcher why they did things. The first thing, in our other 2 rigs, in the Alliance and then we had the Lance, to drain the freshwater tank, if you had been dry camping, was very easy.
I even could do it.
She could even do it, yeah, which is saying a lot. So, because so it basically was a pole on the side of the rig. Now in the Alliance, it's hard because if the slide's out, you have to get underneath and use something like a broom handle. But
it's still easy.
But it's easy to do. The Lance was very easy to do. For some reason, Airstream, you put the freshwater tank drain behind the tire. So, and the first time I did it, tire was dirty, and so of course the long sleeve shirt I had was got really dirty. So they should have put it right between the tires, and it's a little valve that you can turn on and turn off. They should have put it right there, and they didn't. So I'm going to say this.
Come on, Airstream.
All right, second one. So Airstream really emphasizes the production of their doors, and they put, I don't know how many man hours. And let me tell you, they are solid. When it closes, I feel like I'm being locked in a penitentiary. It just really closes very, very hard.
I will say, when you're inside, you do not hear outside noises nearly as much as we can hear in the other two travel trailers.
Yeah, and
it's two trailers.
Yeah, and it's single pane glass, but the glass is very heavy, so that's pretty cool. So, but she's right about that. But they spend more time on the door, and they have to, just because of the curvature of the Airstream, and so it's very solid. I mean, it's aluminum, it's solid, it's steel. It's just, when it closes, you know it closes. But this little screen door latch they put on there, if I was going to take a bet on the first thing to break in this rig, it's absolutely going to be that. So, you know what I have to say to that?
Come on, Airstream.
All right, another one, and this is again, it may not be that big of a deal. So we have two 30-pound propane tanks, and they have the the iconic cover that Airstream uses, the aluminum cover, and the way they run the pigtails, it's really impossible to use the pigtail and say like a little propane gauge that goes on there, and we have the gas stops, and we appreciate that.
The only way to go.
Yeah,
if you're an RVer. Absolutely
the only way to go. We've loved having those, and yes, we have a relationship with that team, and we appreciate what they've done for us. And so there was no way to actually install the gas stops or any other gauge on there, because the pigtails are so small and so tight, and the way the propane tanks are angled in there, they just won't fit with the cover, so you have to angle them out, and when you angle them out, the pigtails are too small. Thanks to Gas Stop, they actually understand this, and they have a kit for Airstream owners where it's a 90-degree angle on the connector to the propane tank, and then it's a longer pigtail back to the regulator. So you can turn the propane tanks at an angle, get that on there, and then get that hooked into the regulator. So that's, again, it's a nit, but since this rig uses a lot of propane because of the on-demand water heater, maintaining the propane is key. Now, we haven't done the Mopikas yet. We will probably do that here in the near future. So I just got to say it.
Come on, Airstream.
Well, this one's good news and bad news. If you like music, which I do, if you followed our channel, I'm a drummer, so yes, I like progressive rock, and I like a lot of different music. The Garmin Fusion Apollo model number, blah, 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 is probably the best sounding stereo I've heard in an RV.
It's really nice.
Now, we've not been in a Prevost or a Newell or something like that. But in a travel trailer, it's got a thumper down below here, a subwoofer, and it is a great sounding stereo system. And these TVs can be hooked up Bluetooth from the TV to the sound system, which would be awesome because we'd love to use it that way. The problem is the delay on the Fusion on Bluetooth makes it unwatchable. It's sort of kind of like if we were saying something like this. The brown cow jumped after the mouse a couple times, and I'm just making stuff up. The delay makes it unwatchable. And so what we've had to do is buy a soundbar for it, because we just can't. We like good sound on the TV, and as you know, these little TVs have horrible sound. So we had to buy a sound bar. We're waiting on a sound bar mount.
I don't know if you can see it. It's
to mount that. So now the funny part is there's an optical output on the TV, and there's an optical input on the Garmin, and that would have solved it, but they opted not to run that cable, and I can't imagine the way that cable runs in through here, so that's probably not going to happen. So a soundbar is what we did, and we just have to get it mounted. So again, great sound system for audio. Would have been a great sound system for for TV, but it's not.
Come on, Airstream.
You know, but all in all, it's been so far so good. We haven't found any screws rolling around on the floor, no sawdust. It's been very solid, and we've towed it probably, I don't know, 1,200, 1,400 miles. So
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So we've done a lot of that. We have done some upgrades. Like we said, we added snap pads, so that was great. And I would say that's one of the first things you should always upgrade. You know, mattress, it comes with a tuft and needle, I believe, and it's okay. It'll probably last for a little while.
Well, we'll absolutely replace
Yeah, we'll have to replace it at some point in time. And obviously we have the TST TPMS. I wish it did have a bike rack. That's an issue with Airstreams. We know that there are some solutions on the market that we'll have to look at. So we didn't bring our bicycles with, but you know, that's just a small thing. I would say that, again, I mentioned a generational rig, and they do say that 70%, I heard this several years ago, I'm not sure if it's still the case, I would imagine it probably is, that 70% of the Airstreams ever built are still roadworthy.
Yeah,
and
whether they're being used for, you know, camping or whether they're being used for like wedding events.
Yeah, we saw one in old, like an 1978 Argosy in Lyons, Colorado, that was used as a bridal room. So
Right,
for a wedding,
yeah.
right? So they painted it
Pretty
white
cool.
because the Argosies are painted non-aluminum. But anyway, all in all, it's been good so far.
Currently, we're in the Phoenix area for about another month, and we usually go to Florida, so this is new for us. So if anyone has anything they'd like to share, things that we should try to do or see or whatever, please leave a comment below because we'd appreciate all that information. But we did go to Quartzsite last week, and that was an experience. It was an experience. We didn't dry camp, but we did camp at a RV campground not too far away, and it was a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of people, and we truly love that.
Yeah, and the people that actually do that and do the boondocking and dry camping out there, God bless you, because it was, and actually the day we got there it had been much windier before that, but the night we got there for a meetup, it was pretty windy, pretty cold. The next day
And
wasn't
dusty.
too bad and dusty. Yeah.
But I mean, everybody's had cold lately, so it's just been unusual.
But it was a great experience. Got a chance to go to a great place called the Desert Bar, and we'll show this in some upcoming videos as well.
So please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Actually, check and make sure you are still subscribed, because
If you had subscribed in the past.
if you've done it previously, because YouTube has done this really weird thing where it's unsubscribed people without them even realizing it. So if you have not subscribed, we'd love for you to do so. Hit the like button if you like our videos, and ring the bell because it'll notify you of our upcoming videos, and we'd love to share our adventure with you.
Yeah, we're looking forward to taking this Airstream to some places that we've never been before. And again, we love the simplicity of it, and we think that's going to be helpful. So we're looking forward to doing that and to bringing some of those places to you. And
we're looking forward to meeting you out on the road. So stay in touch, and hope to see you out there.
Well, in case you're wondering,
Wait, I was not ready. It didn't start.
Let's go.
Oh. But if you are new here, welcome. Please comment below and let us know. Anyway, moving on. That was awful too.